Hello everyone. We've been getting a few questions from our subscribers related to the coronavirus, and in particular, what stocks are being affected with the onset of this coronavirus. So we're making a video here to kind of look at what the coronavirus is, and also take a look at some of the stocks that may be impacted by this. And with that, possibly have these stocks added to your watch list so you can see its behavior and possibly profit from its movement. As always, we are not financial advisors. We're not providing financial advice here. That's the disclaimer. Please use this content for entertainment purposes only or educational purpose only. All right, with that, let's get into it. So the cdc.gov website, the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, recently posted an article here that you can look at it offline. So basically it talks about the coronavirus sourcing from the Wuhan, Hubei province in China, and there's like 300 confirmed cases, including those outside of the city. And then in the United States, there's one person that has contracted this virus. The person is currently in quarantine, and I believe the latest says the person is doing well. So that's a little background. You can go to this website, cdc.gov, for more information. So there's two views here. One view is that this is just another flu virus. With time, someone will they will develop a vaccine, and everybody will be alive and well going forward. So one view is that this is a temporary phenomenon. The other one would be like the end of days type Armageddon type view, where this will drag for months and months. Maybe potentially countries will stop people from traveling, etc., because it may become a pandemic or of some sort. So two views. We're not expressing our view here. It doesn't matter. We don't know. So you may have your own outlook of this virus. So you can keep that in the back of your mind. So we're going to jump into the stocks that were actually, when the CDC announced that we have one case in the United States, we're going to talk about a few stocks that got impacted with some selling. So it went lower. So the first one is MGM Resorts. So MGM, everybody know about their hotels, their casinos. They're worldwide, and especially in Asia. So during this time, this is in January of 2020, Chinese New Year is coming, Friday, I believe. And in China, people have, I believe, 2 weeks of vacation, a holiday time. And one of the pastimes is to go visit casinos. And MGM is a popular destination for the Chinese during New Year's. But unfortunately, this coronavirus is airborne, and people have been contracting it, just by being around people. So that's why when we look at this stock here, there's some selling. So let's look at the 2-hour chart. You can see around the 21st so this is a 2-hour chart. And each bar represents 2 hours. And you see, I believe this is when the CDC has announced that there's a person in the United States who had contracted this coronavirus. So it just kept selling 2 hours, 4 hours, 6 hours, 8 hours. Okay. If you look at daily chart, for MGM, it's actually doing well. It's going in an uptrend. And then we see this. So this each candlestick here represents 1 day worth of trading. So the black color means it's selling, it's being sold. And you can see the volume here in red. A lot of people are selling. And then if you look at the weekly chart, it's also bullish, and then now it looks like it's resting. So what does it all mean? So if you're in the first camp, which is, hey, this is a temporary phenomenon, everything gets sorted out in a few weeks, maybe a few days, then this could be a buying opportunity here, right? Because this is pretty much uncalled for. But if you believe that this is very serious and this will deter them from going into MGM or the casinos, then maybe it's a shorting opportunity. Okay, so we're not making any recommendations. This MGM is a potential candidate that you can add to your watch list, and just watch it and see what it does. All right. So the next stock that was impacted by the coronavirus scare is Sands, Las Vegas Sands Corporation. Same thing. They're big worldwide, especially in Macau, where a lot of Chinese folks will go during this time, actually throughout the year as well. So a lot of people very packed. So let's look at the 2 hour, very similar. The first 2 hours, a huge selling fiasco, followed by additional selling, although it has slowed a little bit. This is a 2 hour chart for Las Vegas Sands. For the daily chart, they are also in an uptrend, right? You can see by this moving average here, it's above the moving average, and you saw that day's selling activity here. So it's a $4 drop. So, if you're in the first camp, once again, this might be a buying opportunity, or maybe you wait a little bit more until it comes back to the trend line, and then get in. Or if you're more conservative, you may want to, see support after it bounces from this trend line to get in. And then if you're the Armageddon guy, maybe now it's time to either sell some call options up here, possibly short term, or start buying some put options. So you'll benefit if this goes much further down. And then on the weekly chart, same thing. It's kind of breaking out here, and unfortunately, this event kind of slowed it down a little bit. So those are the two casino stocks that were impacted by the coronavirus. Let's see. And then the third one in the three casinos is Wynn Resorts. Very similar to the first two, MGM and Sands. They're actually competitors. And for Wynn Resorts, it's also bullish in the weekly, and this little bit of selling here that started is because of the coronavirus. On the daily chart, bullish, but then the bunch of selling when that first case was reported in the United States. Similarly, in the 2 hour chart, 2, 4, 6, 8 hours of selling, although it kind of slowed down a little bit compared to the first 2 hours when the news came out. All right, so those are the first three casino stocks that were impacted. Next, we'll look at the hotels. If you think about it, you can't. Not everybody lives next to the casino, right? If they're going to the casinos, they need to be staying in a hotel. So in the hotel, there's different people there. Sometimes the lobby is crowded, the restaurants are crowded. So for the next batch of stocks that were affected by this is the travel stocks, the lodging stocks. So the Marriott chain of hotels is what we're discussing here. And you see they have a lot of what's the word I'm looking for? They have a lot of hotels, sister hotels that belong to this holdings company. And so for this thesis is that, hey, air travel, even air travel will be impacted. People don't want to go anywhere. They just want to stay home to be safe from this virus because they're, trying to stay away from public places. If that's the case, then traveling and the hotels will be impacted. So if we look at the Marriott set of hotels, they're also doing pretty good. I mean, it is, moving upwards. You see the daily chart is an upward trend, although there's some consolidation here. And then this thing happened with Corona, and there's a very decisive selling there. Same for the 2-hour. Yeah. So for educational purpose, you could consider, if I'm an options trader, I might consider selling some calls here. Maybe buying some puts down here, a put spread. If you think it'll rebound, buying some calls, because right now those should be pretty cheap. So just some ideas for your educational purposes. The next set of hotels is the Hilton holdings. Same thing, they're worldwide. They're worldwide, and there's a lot of, in the portfolio, there's a lot of hotels. Embassy, Garden, Waldorf, Conrad, Doubletree, and even the Hampton is part of the Hilton family. So this one actually looks very much better than Marriott. Looks like, there's some consolidation pulling back to the trend, and then, it's going up in the weekly. The daily chart, some indecisiveness here, but there is selling. And then on the 120, same. So all these charts were taken from the same period. So you see that the investors are, paring back by unloading some of the stock these 8 hours. Question now is it going to continue? Nobody knows. It depends on, it's most likely news driven. The news might come out one day and say, hey, everything's done, fixed. It's not contagious. Even if you contracted it, you'll be fine. Then all this stuff will, people will jump back in and push this higher. And then maybe a few days after that, maybe one person did not make it, and then it will come back down. So if you played this set of stocks, just remember that you'll be getting on a roller coaster ride. But if you have the patience, and if you're setting up longer term, and depending on your outlook of this thing, of this coronavirus, you may put a stake down in one direction or the other. So that's all we have for this YouTube video. We'll be publishing additional videos related to the coronavirus, and those stocks that you can add to your watch list. Please remember to subscribe and like our videos. We also have a blog at moneyfromcash.com that you can check out for additional trading ideas and educational content. And once again, disclaimer is that we're not trading, financial advisors. This is all for entertainment purposes. But hopefully, from the entertainment, you find some value because these are real stocks that you can add to your watch list. Until then, take care. Bye-bye.